Riots, protests, fight outbreaks, and broken families. People still believe that even though it's 2020, everyone is treated equally. Sadly, this is false because even though it's the 21st century, equality is more of a factor that is still based on skin color. It's hard to believe that even when you have all the freedom of doing anything in this country, you are still treated differently, even if you're a person of color, even with no exceptions from law enforcement. The high profile police killings of unarmed black people and the protests that followed generated a state of public opinion research during 2014 through 2016. The big takeaway is that although these events produced some movement among some white Americans towards a greater appreciation of the systematic racism in law enforcement, the black, Latino, white divide on attitudes towards the police remains deep and wide, says Opportunity Agenda on their website. Police enforcement targeting colored people towards all crimes is a crime. Police brutality and equality towards the colored human beings is an actual thing, and I'll be persuading you to agree with me by showing the statistics on death rates among people of color versus the white people, how we can prevent the problems for the future, and racism is a worldwide problem that almost all countries can relate to. In my first topic, I will show you the statistics on death rates among people of color versus white people. In a study conducted by Frank Edwards of Rutgers University School of Criminal Justice, found that roughly 1 in 1,000 black boys and men will be killed by police in their lifetime. For white boys and men, the rate is 39 out of 100,000. Sounds crazy. This is alarming because the black community only takes up 12.1% of US population, whereas white people take up to 72%. Why do these numbers look extremely alarming? Racism is still going on in the United States, but not just in the United States, but worldwide. By thinking about these statistics, one can easily determine that these numbers suspiciously vary. One can think to themselves, were all of the people of color that were brutally shot by police armed? Were these African and Latin natives actual delinquents? Or was this caused by the long ongoing acts of racism of whites against African natives and Latin Americans? So how do we take a stand for my second main point? First, get educated. Ignorance is one of the main reasons this problem is still going on in 2020. Read, learn, and talk to people. Spread awareness of police brutality and inequality going on in the world. There are many ways people have protested police brutality, and there are many ways you can protest this. The way most people are common with is kneeling during the national anthem. No, they are not doing it in disrespect of U.S. veterans. Colin Kaepernick states on independent.co that he is doing it to make a statement saying, I am not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color. There are bodies in the street and people getting paid leave and getting away with murder, Colin Kaepernick stated. Riots and many other ways colored people have shown their anger towards this problem doesn't mean it's also the right way to do it. Many of these colored people say they fear for their life when even having an encounter with a cop, that being with just being pulled over or watching them outside passing by their house. So my third main point is not only police brutality, but racism is a problem all around the world, not just in the USA. A bias towards race has been going on and as early as humans have been around. India is said to be the most racist country in the world. The United States is not close to being the worst, but it's still present. No human being should be having fear towards law enforcement when their job is to help and protect all. Police officers in the US shoot and kill hundreds of people each year. According to the FBI's very little limited data on Vox, far more than other developed countries like the UK, Japan, and Germany, where police officers might go an entire year without killing more than a dozen people or even anyone at all. In conclusion, I hope I persuaded the audience to learn more about the police brutality among people of color by my three main points. First, I explain the statistics of inequality problem done by cops in the US. Second, I ask you to help take a stand on this dilemma going on in the US by educating ourselves about this ongoing problem. And third, I explain how racism is not only a problem in the US, it is a problem all over the world. Believe in something, even if it means losing everything. Colin Kaepernick.